So in today's video we're going to be talking about how to break 80, and if you are trying to break 80 there's one thing that you're going to really need to start making sure you're doing in your golf swing. Let's get stuck into it. So this video has been prompted by a student of mine, Lynn. Now Lynn is somebody who has featured on the channel a few times, and I'm always very transparent with you guys. If I'm seeing inconsistency with a golfer, I'll share it with you, or equally if we're starting to see more progress with the golfer, I want to share it with you as well. Now the last time I saw Lynn out on the golf course it was a little inconsistent, in particular in the backswing position. Lynn has a tendency to sort of over rotate the arms in the backswing, and what this does is this sacrifices a big factor, which is club face stability. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to reduce the amount that we are moving the club face excessively throughout the golf swing. Now the hard thing with golf is that the club face will, relative to your target line, progressively open. Okay, but what was happening with Lynn is it was opening just so much. So when I saw her last on the golf course, there was slices with the longer clubs, there was inconsistency with contact, and what we've been working on over our last couple of visits has been just to really tidy up the backswing. And she messaged me the other day saying that she had broken 80 and was starting to really feel much more awareness of how much easier the golf swing can really be. So what I've been working on with Lynn is quite simple. The idea was to just get the feeling of, if you like, sort of keeping the club face looking down towards the ball in that first part of that backswing for as long as possible. And then from here, it has been to try and learn how to fold the right arm, should we say, correctly. So one of the things that I'm always trying to do is get a student in a really good backswing position, because it's going to make the downswing so much easier. Now if I meet somebody who's like really talented and they get their arms into a funky position but they're really good in the downswing, then I'll leave them alone. But if somebody like Lynn who's a little bit more inconsistent, then I always feel if we can build a solid backswing, that massively helps. So the first feeling is in that early backswing position is just to get the sense of just moving the club to the side of the body. Simple enough. But what I've then always wanted her to do is to refrain from allowing the upper arm to move too far away from the side of the body. The problem with this is it means in the downswing you're going to have to bring it back in. I didn't want that. I wanted her to get more of a sense of sort of folding her arm as I'm sort of demonstrating here. So a good thing for you guys to practice is place your lead arm on your right upper arm and just sort of practice allowing your sort of arm to fold. And what I mean by this is just allow the arm to bend to sort of 90 degrees and just sort of allow an element of rotation. So in the backswing position, can you see the way that my right palm is pushing pressure to the side, to the wall here, like so? Now if you're somebody who, like Lynn, has a tendency to over rotate the arm, when you get to the top of the backswing you'll kind of notice the way your right palm is pointing more up towards the sky. This is going to add a huge amount of inconsistency. You want to really feel like you're more here. Now what we also noticed for Lynn, and it'll be the same for you guys, is you can apply this holistically. Okay, now for the shorter shots, again just getting this sort of sense of not over twisting, okay, because that was one of the things Lynn was doing. And if you over twist the club face, it'll either produce an excessive amount of spin because you're going to be opening that face too much, or you kind of lend itself to inconsistency in contact. So what we're doing as well is it's going to give her a flatter, more predictable flight with the shorter clubs, already making life easier. We've already discussed the iron, obviously it's the same sort of notion, but the club that she has to improve, and if you guys are trying to break 80 that you have to improve as well, is going to be the longer clubs. And the longer clubs are more susceptible to club face. So this basically means when you're hitting clubs that are less lofted, you have to do an even better job of controlling that club face. So if you have a tendency in hitting the ball with a 7-iron with a slightly opening face, the driver is going to be amplifying that problem 10 times, and this has always been Lynn's issue. So by Lynn sort of working on the first part of the backswing, just moving the arms to the side of the body and keeping the club face pointing down to the ground has made a massive difference. And then practicing this sort of folding exercise where she gets to the top of the backswing where the right palm is facing the wall and the upper arm stays in contact is going to give her a really easy position to continue to work on the downswing and to obviously continue to stabilize that club face. So work on it. I'll see you guys again really soon.